Let's get one thing straight. Your transformation is not a coincidence. It's not random. It's not luck. It's divine. The version of you that's rising, the strength, the clarity, the fire in your spirit, that's not ordinary growth. That's what happens when a chosen one steps into alignment with destiny. And whether you realize it yet or not, you're becoming the most powerful version of yourself. Not powerful by the world's standards, not measured by money, titles, or attention, but powerful in spirit, grounded in truth, unshakable in storms, fearless in purpose. And that kind of power terrifies darkness, exposes fake relationships, and shifts entire atmospheres. It's not loud. It's undeniable. It's not always visible, but it's deeply felt. If you've been sensing that something within you is changing, if your old ways no longer fit, if the people around you seem uncomfortable with your growth, then this message is for you. Because you're not just evolving, you're awakening. And here are 6 undeniable signs that you're stepping into the strongest, most spiritually aligned version of yourself. 1. You no longer tolerate what you once accepted. Let's begin with the most obvious, and often the most uncomfortable. Sign of your spiritual transformation. The things you once tolerated now feel unbearable. That draining job, that toxic relationship, the shallow conversations, the unhealthy habits, they no longer sit right with your soul. You can't fake it, ignore it, or stay silent anymore. Something deep within you is rejecting what you once endured. But this shift isn't about bitterness, impatience, or mood swings. It's about awakening. You're seeing through the illusions. That friend who constantly drains your energy. You finally recognize the pattern. That habit you clung to for comfort. It's costing you your peace, and you're ready to let it go. That lie you've been telling yourself to stay small. You just can't say it with a straight face anymore. This discomfort isn't a breakdown. It's a breakthrough. It's your spirit saying, we're not going back. When God begins elevating you, He also begins cleansing you. He removes the people, places, and patterns that no longer serve your purpose. The most empowered version of you cannot carry what the weaker version tolerated. You're no longer settling to survive. You're being called to rise and thrive. And that divine discomfort, it's proof you're evolving. Your spirit is more peaceful. Even in chaos before, stress shattered you. Pressure felt like a weight you couldn't bear. The moment things fell apart, so did you. But now, something's changed. There's a stillness inside you, a deep, unshakable calm. Life still throws curveballs. Storms still rage. But they don't drown you anymore. Why? Because you've tapped into something stronger than control. You found spiritual peace. This peace isn't about having a perfect life. It's about knowing who walks with you. Real peace is not the absence of problems. It's the undeniable presence of God. And when you're aligned with His purpose for you, peace becomes your armor. It steadies your steps, calms your thoughts, and anchors your soul in the middle of chaos. Now, you don't panic, you pause. You don't chase clarity, you trust timing. You don't lash out, you lean in. You've become intentional with your energy, rooted in your faith, and matured by your trials. That's not passivity, it's power. The growth is loud, even in your silence. This version of you no longer breaks under pressure. You rise above it. And that calm within, it's the evidence that you're stepping into the most powerful, God-aligned version of yourself. 3. You're willing to let go of people without guilt. This one stings, but it's truth that sets you free. The stronger version of you no longer clings to everyone, and more importantly, you no longer feel guilty for letting go. In the past, you held on to people out of fear of being alone, fear of disappointing others, fear of not being enough. You settled for shallow connections, poured into one-sided relationships, and explained your growth just to keep the peace. But now, you've outgrown that. You've awakened to your worth. You've learned that not everyone deserves a seat in your next season. Some people were just chapters. Valuable, yes, but not meant to be the entire book. And as your spirit ascends, your circle naturally shifts. Some drift away quietly, others exit with drama. Either way, You don't beg, you don't chase, you release. Why? Because you finally found the most important connection of all, the one with yourself. You're rooted in purpose, grounded in peace, and led by truth. Any relationship that demands your silence, your smallness, or your sacrifice of self, you bless it and let it go. This isn't coldness, it's clarity, it's strength, and most of all, it's proof that you are becoming exactly who you were meant to be. 4. Your prayer life has shifted from begging to alignment. Listen closely. So your relationship with God has changed. You used to pray out of desperation, begging for things, pleading for rescue, constantly asking, "Why me?" But lately, your prayers sound different. There's more listening, more surrender, more gratitude, more alignment. That's spiritual power. When you become the strongest version of yourself, you stop treating God like a vending machine and start partnering with Him. You begin to pray with authority, not anxiety. You speak promises instead of panic. You declare truth instead of replaying fear. Your conversations with God have matured. You no longer need constant reassurance because your faith has deepened. You know who He is. And more importantly, you're starting to believe in who you are too. You're no longer begging for permission to rise. You're stepping into position. And when you pray from identity, not insecurity, the entire spirit realm takes notice. 5. You're attracting resistance. But you don't crumble, let's get real. Elevation comes with exposure. The higher you rise, the more visible you become. And with that visibility comes resistance. People start questioning your intentions. Some mock your transformation. Spiritual warfare intensifies. Why? Because your growth disrupts the norm. Your light reveals what others want to keep hidden. Your progress challenges their comfort zones, and your presence unsettles the spirit of complacency around you. But here's the undeniable sign of your spiritual power. You no longer break under pressure. You've come to expect opposition. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're finally doing something right. You've learned to see through the noise. Gossip doesn't distract you. Attacks don't derail you. You recognize warfare for what it is, and you're equipped for it. You've mastered the art of spiritual warfare, fighting without fighting. You no longer swing at every critic. You don't chase every insult. You operate in peace, in purpose, and in divine confidence. You've realized that stillness is not weakness. It's strength backed by heaven. Now, when resistance rises, so do you. You don't shrink, you expand. That unshakable composure, that unwavering faith, that's power. And that's exactly why the enemy is intimidated by this version of you. You're walking in divine authority. 6. You feel an unexplainable pull toward purpose. The final, and perhaps most undeniable, sign of your transformation is this: you've stopped chasing what everyone else is chasing. The applause, the spotlight, the status. It no longer moves you. What fuels you now is purpose. There's a divine fire inside you, a holy restlessness that refuses to settle for anything less than what you were created for. You've shifted your focus. It's no longer about impressing the crowd. It's about impacting eternity. You're not obsessed with being busy. You're committed to being aligned. You've learned to say no to what drains your spirit and yes to what feeds your soul. You've made space for God. You've begun asking deeper questions. What was I sent here to do? Who am I becoming in Him? That hunger for purpose isn't just motivation. It's a sacred calling. It's evidence that the old you, the one driven by fear, approval, and striving, is gone. What's rising now is powerful, not because of your strength, but because of your surrender. You understand that your steps are ordered, your life is strategic, and your obedience is a weapon. And that's what makes you dangerous to darkness. You're not just living, you're walking in purpose. You're not just surviving, you're fulfilling destiny. And heaven calls you priceless. Let's pause here and reflect. If these signs hit your spirit, if they feel more like confirmation than new information, it's because your spirit already knows you're not who you used to be, and you'll never go back. You've outgrown the version of you that was apologizing for being powerful. You've shed the skin of insecurity. You've buried the lie that said you needed permission to be great. You are becoming the kind of person that aligns with everything God promised you. And heaven is responding. What's next for the most powerful version of you? What happens next will require more faith than ever. But you won't be doing it with fear, you'll do it with fire. More focus, more surrender, more boundaries, more purpose. The powerful version of you doesn't just dream, it discerns. Doesn't just move, it obeys. Doesn't just survive, it builds. You're about to be trusted with new levels of responsibility. And don't be surprised when people you once looked up to start looking at you for guidance. This isn't ego. This is elevation. And you've been tested, refined, and qualified for it. You're not becoming powerful because you want control. You're becoming powerful because you finally understand who you are. And nothing is more dangerous to the kingdom of darkness than a chosen one walking in full clarity and submission to God. You've cried. You've sacrificed. You let go. You've endured. And now, you rise. The most powerful version of you is not coming. It's here. It's you. And now it's time to walk in it. If this message stirred something deep inside you, if you feel like this was more than just a video, but a confirmation of your becoming, don't stop here. The next video is going to unlock what happens when you fully step into your purpose and how to navigate the divine pressure that comes with growth. Because becoming powerful isn't the end of the journey, it's just the beginning. Watch next. Chosen ones. God is about to reveal what you were born to do, and you're finally ready. Your destiny is unfolding. Keep going. You've only scratched the surface.